Captain's Log, Episode 77. This week's episode of the Beer Vengers podcast is sponsored by the Beer and Cheese Collective, located at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens. Enjoy their eclectic array of craft beer, artisanal cheeses, and specialty grocery items at the Beer and Cheese Collective. The Beer Vengers is an unscripted podcast, except for this part. Every week I try and write something clever, slightly informative, but I'm not doing that this week. Not writing anything in support of our striking brothers and sisters in the Writers Guild of America. And that's what I'm going to do. This is a little halting here. I don't have anything written down to say, and that's what it's going to be until the strike is over, I think. And so if you see someone on a picket line, or if you have a friend or a loved one, or friend and or a loved one, who's not doing too well because of all the situation, just buy him a beer, and hopefully soon I'll be writing something here again. Remember to like, star, and subscribe whenever that feels appropriate, and send us your emails at thebeervengers@gmail.com if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you just like hearing us talk about you on the show. And now, without further ado, please enjoy episode 77, Crushing the Segues.
With a beer, beer Vengers, beer Vengers, beer Vengers. With a beer Vengers, with a beer Vengers, beer Vengers, beer Vengers. With a beer Vengers.
Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Astoria, Queens, I am Captain Porter Brownstout.
And coming to you from the city of Fresno, California, in an undisclosed location, this is the Pale Male, Hophead Huck.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the County of Kings, it is I, the Beer Wonder.
And we are
The Beer Vengers.
That was a top five.
Definitely, yeah. Top five.
Out of
something.
77.
Yeah, it's 77. This is episode 77. Welcome,
Can you
everyone.
believe we've been doing this that long? 77 episodes, gentlemen.
I can, but I'm excited about it.
I was going to say, it feels like just yesterday and also a million years ago that we started doing this at the height of the terrible times.
Yes, and we all know how that fucked our brains as far as time-wise. But anyway, we're very glad to be back, and we're glad that you're back listening again, Beer Vengers out there in the world. We haven't gotten together this for a little while. How you guys doing?
Feeling fine. Thank you, Captain. And how are you?
Yes.
I'm doing well. It's this weird sort of lurching into spring and in and out of it with temperature changes has been working havoc on my immune system. But I don't know. I'm not basically just a cold that I can't shake. But that's really annoying. It's like starting out with a sore throat and then leading into a cough, which I'm still the lingering part of it. I'm not, don't worry. I'm not on death's door or anything. It's just annoying. The way I like a cold that won't go away is annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might know a way that we could possibly bring you some relief.
There is relief potentially at your fingertips. Just moments away from you. Are
you suggesting that it's time for the pours?
We can't even have a conversation without I have a cold beer here.
Isn't that the whole point of this show? Really?
I have been waiting. I've abstained from drinking for the past 2 days. So
what? I mean, good for you. Live your best moist life, but also
that's a wild ride of a 48 hours there.
Well, actually, I did drink on Tuesday. I shouldn't say that.
Okay.
Huck, don't lie to us.
It's been a full day.
Well, Huck,
almost 48 hours.
Huck, since you've been suffering so long without a beer, I don't know, Captain. I hate to be the arbiter of taste in this moment, but I do feel like it's only appropriate that Huck go first.
I think it's absolutely appropriate, and really, it's the only polite thing to do.
Wonderful. So true.
Thanks, gentlemen. I got a really interesting beer here. This is from Central Coast Brewing,
Oh, fun.
and it's called Catch 23.
Oh, how fun.
And as you can see, it's got Catcher in the Rye. If you
Uh-huh.
guys know the book
Very
from
nice.
school, this is an
Yeah.
excessively hopped, high gravity ale brewed
Ooh.
with rye and roasted malts.
Bless it.
Okay, I
good.
did look up what this is, but you can style wise, it's made with rye. But you can take a look at it and see what we got going here. Are we ready? Here we go.
I'm ready to go. Oh, it's dark.
Yeah, nice and rich.
There's those roasted
Oh, wow.
malts there.
Yeah, you can see
Very
it good.
healthy head there.
Yep, nice and tight too, so it's probably gonna stick around for a second. Look at
Very
that.
buoyant. Yeah.
I loved the book Catch 22 when I read it in high school. I don't know if you all like
A
remember
little
that
later
one,
in life, but I read it in
yeah.
my mid-20s, and
Yeah.
I found it very, very appealing.
it's a
Never
good
read it.
one. Okay. Well, hey, look,
It
it's
is.
all about socialism.
I had a strange argument with someone about it one time, but we'll get to that after we all have full glasses.
Okay.
That's very true. That's very true. Well, Captain,
yeah, you think it's my turn?
I think so. I'm
Or were you
feeling
just
very
about to tell me
I'm
that it's
feeling
your turn?
No, I'm feeling very giving this evening.
I
All
think
right,
the beer
fair
wonder is
enough.
working
I
up
will-
to something here. So let's
I
see
will
what the
take
captain's
it.
got.
This is really an incredibly unique beer I have, which just happens
Oh,
to
wow.
be
Sponsored pour.
that's right. It's a
Oh my God.
sponsored pour from our sponsor, the Beer and Cheese Collective, 35-11 Dip Mars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens. This is a really unique one that ever since the provider handed it to me a couple days ago, I've been dying to get my lips around it. It is
Mhm.
a brewery primarily known for sours, Jester King out of Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
But this is their
Ooh.
black metal imperial stout.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
like,
cool.
See that can art? It's kind of like a Kiss Army kind of thing there.
Yeah.
That's
Let's see what we got
that's
here.
a real winner.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Still
oh
a
my.
little crack there. But let's see what we got.
I'm expecting darkness. Ooh,
Oh, always, and getting all the darkness you ever wanted there,
yeah.
Huck. My goodness.
To be sure.
Mhm.
There we are.
beautiful
Oh, wow.
cinnamon head there, little cocoa nibs.
Mm-hmm.
Kind
Wow,
of
that's
vibe there.
absolutely
go.
beautiful. Oh, wow.
Is this our
Looking
first
for-
Jester King? Very nice.
It might be, yeah. We
Might
don't have a
be.
lot of Texas beers on there.
Tejas.
Okay, B Dubs, what's up?
Oh my gosh. Well, I know everyone's going to be utterly shocked. Interestingly, I'm kind of carrying forward the literary theme that we sort of are starting this evening
Okay.
with my.
Sponsored pour.
Yep, I have a sponsored pour. And it is from Marlowe Artisanal Ale. So Marlowe Literary. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah,
I'm
sure.
trying.
I got you.
I'm trying. Yes, thank you. I'm trying for something here tonight.
Kit
This is
Marlowe.
yeah. The art by Cat Manning. So Kit Cat. Oh, here you go. The beer is by Zach Ross. They give you all the information down at the bottom. And it was brewed and canned at Marlowe Artisanal Ales in North Haven, Connecticut. So to lovely New England. This is their Despite All Odds, which is their annual anniversary beer. It is just a casual double IPA brewed with the favorite malts, hops, and yeasts brewed once a year to commemorate the anniversary. So let's see how this year's varietal is. Okay, got the glass.
Fine crack. For some fine crack. Oh,
Oh, pretty.
Yes, she's a hazy one.
I got
Sure
some
is.
juiciness going here.
Mm-hmm.
That looks great.
Bright orange, sort of almost like a grapefruit mixed with orange juice.
Yes.
And we
This is-
call it, a nice pour too. I like the slow pour rising
Yeah,
to the top of the
I know
tulip glass.
is a pretty one there. I do also want to mention that the can art has a yellow rubber ducky on a wave.
Okay.
And honestly, the duck is basically the same color as the beer.
With the beer.
So
Beautiful.
I was gonna say when I saw the can, I thought maybe it was a stout because it's so dark. But hey, let's have a drink.
indeed.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Beer Avengers.
Cheers, Vengers.
Ooh. Ooh. I just did the thing I always tell people not to do, which is get your nose in the beer. I did an absolute dip on this one, and it was not good.
That happens.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's really nice.
Ooh. Ooh, I know why they put all their favorites in this one.
Wow. was getting some like roasted figs.
Holy moly!
There's a fruit vibe to it, like a dark fruit. Got nice
Now this
lacing on there. That's good.
you said this was a heavily hopped ale with rye. Yes, that's what
Yes,
they're
I
calling
believe
this one.
that when I looked it up online, it's a black IPA.
Okay.
But it's unique. It's not like other black IPAs I've had before where you get a lot of chocolatey, almost porterish vibe to it. You definitely get the hops. I'm getting the rye too, but I don't want to comment right away because this needs some time to process. I will say that even though it's Catch 23, a reference to Catch 22, the art is a reference to
Catch with
Rye.
rye. No,
Because there's
absolutely.
rye in
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect
made with
sense.
rye. It would almost be a copyright here. It's like almost exactly like the book cover.
Yeah, that was the original book cover, right? Because when I was a kid,
Mhm.
the one I found, it was just almost like it was just a monochromatic color
Yes.
to the book.
It was like a flat red, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
But now
this,
the kids these
go
days,
ahead.
they got more lines. They got more lines going on. They got to have a little
Yeah.
bit more intrigue, Anyway, I'm sorry. Huck, tell us about this beer.
Well, yeah, this is Central Coast Brewing out of San Luis Obispo, not San Luis.
Oh,
San Luis Obispo down the coast, not far from here, Central Coast. And I had their, I don't know if you remember this, I had a peanut butter stout from them. And I didn't have it on the show, but I had it in life. And I wasn't, I love peanut butter stouts. And I was like, oh, I'm not happy. So I haven't gone back to Central Coast since that beer until now. And I figured I got to give them another chance. Can't judge them on one beer.
mhm.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah.
And
Weird
not in a
good?
bad way. Like I'm enjoying
okay.
the flavors, but it's like unexpected. So give me some time over here
Okay.
to work it out. If somebody wants to talk about their beer.
Well,
Well,
it's go ahead.
go
Yeah.
ahead. Well, I'm sure I'll take it. So, despite all odds, excellent, beautiful beer. I do want to give some love to our friends at Marlowe Ales, though, because when I initially went to go and do a little bit more research on this beer, it did indicate that their Nyack location is permanently closed, and I did some more digging, and that happened on April 8th for. Due to circumstances beyond their control, they are continuing to do production brewing. With 12% a beer project that they have always done, and they're kind of working on beginning their next chapter. But when there's a big upheaval in any small brewery, especially one that's been around for roughly a year, maybe 2 years, Marlowe's still fairly new. This can be a really kind of challenging time. So, we want to send you guys a little bit of extra love from the Beer Vengers family. And if you see a Marlowe beer out there, make sure that you snap it up to help make sure that they're able to stay forward. And honestly, if you can still find it despite all odds, I would get it because not only is it 8%, but it is every bit of juicy fruitiness and orange juice you ever wanted. There's like a little bit of pininess, but there's almost no bitterness. I get a bit of a hop zing at the very, very end. It's sweet, but it's not overpoweringly sweet, and I'm already feeling the effects of it. So it's a delightful double IPA, and I especially at a time when a brewery might be kind of reshifting its existence. Always great to grab an extra 4 to 6er and throw it in the fridge.
Yeah.
And
That
feel good about it.
certainly sounds like my preferred type of IPA.
Old Marlowe.
I like the double hazies.
Mm-hmm. It's bold. There's a lot happening here. Super smooth, a little bit of zip, which I always like. Not super resiny, but I'm definitely getting some of that pine. And not overpoweringly sweet. Like, it is a beer that I don't want to chug. I'm really enjoying the sip of it because it's a complex experience, and also, it's not like it feels like it's like each mouthful feels like it's a substantial amount of beer. So.
Well,
Lovely.
with this one, I'm getting with the black metal imperial stout, which by the way is a 9.3% ABV. It's nice. It's got a sort of a rich chocolatey flavor to it. It's not too heavy bodied. It is definitely I would say more of a medium plus than a true heavy. Something you usually see more in the for an export stout than imperial stout, but it's really quite delicious, and I think there's some other things going on here, and I will try and weigh in if I try to discover that if I remember to. but really nice beer.
Mhm.
I was just looking that Central Coast is pretty OG. They just put out their 25th anniversary beer. So they've been around a while. Where's my light gone? So they've been around a while, and I don't know about them because I haven't really been in the Central Coast too long. But it says it's supposed to combine these dark roasted malt flavors with that excessive hoppy pininess. But I think the maltiness is winning the battle, which often happens in black IPAs. The roasted malt flavor is the dominant flavor. Give me some dark fruit vibes, a slight tartness actually on the finish, and like it's got a bitterness, so that maybe that's the hoppiness, but I don't get a lot of the hop flavor. But I gotta say, I do like it. It's very unique for a black IPA. Okay, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Can I tell?
Say yes to the dress.
Can I tell my catch-22 story now?
Yes, please tell us.
So this was probably back around 1995. I have pinpointed because I know that I was working at Universal Studios Florida, and
that little place.
we have little long breaks in between our shows, depending on how it is. So I always have a book with me there in our break trailer, and I was reading Catch-22. First time I'd ever read it. Haven't read it since, so the only time I've read it. But I was reading it, and I was talking to one of my coworkers. It became pretty clear that he didn't realize that this is where that expression came from. And so I told him, I said, oh yeah, no, well, this is the book that invented that phrase. That's where it came from. He said, nah, it's always been around. I said, where do you think it came from? He said, just evolved. Well,
Right.
what do you think it evolved from? And he couldn't give me an answer, but clearly he was sure that Catch-22 existed before the book Catch-22 existed, and there was no, you can't reason with idiots. That's what it really comes down to.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like Watergate. Like anything that's a gate, it's like, oh yeah, it goes back to Watergate. It's like no, I think it's before that.
I think, yeah.
Gates. The gate thing's always been around.
No, all started with Watergate.
It's Citizen
Obviously.
Kane.
Citizen Kane.
It's Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane.
Kids in the Hall reference. Kids in the Hall, great documentary though recently on.
Oh, you just watched it?
On Prime. Yeah, I did watch it recently. Yes.
Because they released that at the same time they released the new episodes.
Yes, I finished watching those first, then we watched the documentary. Excellent. It was so fun to watch and just so fun to relive what those guys had done and what an impact they had on comedy. And I love the Kids in the Hall.
And Beer Wonder, if this is going over your head for the time being, actually this documentary would be the perfect entry level for you to understand what we're talking about.
That's fair.
See, people always talked about Kids in the Hall when I was a kid in the hall,
Yeah.
and actually one of my high school teachers, the one who gave me the opportunity to read Catch-22, used to show it in class.
Oh, okay.
But it was her cinema studies class, and I never took that one. So she would make all these references to it, and I was just like, I have no clue what's going on. I'll go read Catch-22 and Hamlet and all the other stuff we were reading. But
so you
anyway,
did read Catch-22 after that.
Oh, I read Catch-22 in high school and loved it. We also did Slaughterhouse-5, which we did those back to back, and that is a solid combo of fuck capitalism, like the world is terrible, 1-2 punch. You really,
bad.
yeah.
It's funny. I didn't really quite realize until I reread during the lockdown period. Slaughterhouse-5 is one of the books I revisited over that period, and then I got into just devouring a bunch of Vonnegut that I hadn't read in years.
Yeah,
and it really reinforced in me how much of my worldview was sort of informed by Vonnegut's. It's just mostly the anti-war stuff, but other stuff as well. But the anti-war stuff, he just does such a wonderful job of talking about how war, even if we think of it as a just war, how absurd the whole prospect is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And similarly, when I watched the Kids of the Hall documentary, it reminded me of so you will never experience, you should watch it, Beer Wonder, but I realized at the time how much of it reinforced and supported the worldview I was developing when I watched Kids in the Hall. It's like one of those things where I believe certain things about certain things, and when I watched that at that time, the show is here for me. And so yeah.
Love it.
And have we? Did I sleep through it, or have we heard anything about the Jester King beer?
Well, I did mention that it's chocolatey. Let me
Mhm.
just, and I said it's medium bodied or medium plus is what I said.
Thanks for coming back to that because
Yeah.
I think I must have been looking something
And
up.
and then if anyone is
Fine.
listening and didn't hear me say it the first time, now you don't have to rewind.
There you go.
And that's great. And Jester King is one of those I don't want to say hype brewery, but they're definitely like nationally they're considered one of those elite breweries where their beers are quite sought after around the country.
Yeah.
Especially like you said, they make these big sours. They usually put them in those 750 milliliter bottles, and they have great can art, like the art that you have on your can. They do
That
a
did
lot
look
of
good.
that. Very like gothic monster kind of art. So very cool. I'm glad we got them on the show.
Yeah.
Well,
Texas
yeah.
is a growing craft beer place. It's growing
Yeah.
fast now. I guess they had some rules in place that made it harder for breweries to get started when the craft beer scene was happening in California and Massachusetts and New York, all over the country.
So you're
And
saying Texas was a little behind the rest of the country on
Yeah.
what are the odds?
Shocking.
No. Oh,
Shocking.
no.
I know.
It's so sad because there's so many fine, beautiful people in the state of Texas. You know,
Well,
and it's
especially, I mean, yes, and many of them are my relatives, and some of them who aren't are as well. But no, but we weren't. I know they're all fine people. Some are. No, I'm not going to rank them.
so easy to want to say to write off these states, like F those
Yeah.
states, and it's like, well, they're filled with good people that are suffering from these
that is
laws they're trying to pass. So
yeah, I mean, and Austin
stuff.
especially. Austin is the one who
Mhm.
regularly gets screwed by all of this because they are definitely the liberal outpost in Texas,
and
it's
ironically, that's where all the laws are being made.
and it's so
Yep.
but also the state of Texas is so gerrymandered that no one in
Ugh.
Austin has a voice.
Amazing.
No one really represents Austin because they're carved up and attached onto more conservative districts.
Oh
but
my Lord! in
but even
heaven.
in addition to Austin, I'm amazed
Bless your
at how
heart.
many of the other cities, like anywhere else, the cities are always a little bit more progressive, which is why
Yeah.
we're in a fucked up upside down world now where like Ohio and Florida are getting like firmly deeply red. They're no longer swing states.
Right.
And Texas is almost getting a little purpley.
Yeah, Texas
Yeah.
and Georgia moving the other direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the city of Houston is the fifth largest city in the country, and it actually became bigger after Hurricane Katrina when so many people moved there, and
okay.
you know it's an urban place, and it's very I want to say liberal, but you know it has a lot of minorities live there, and people that don't want to be oppressed,
No,
and
Yeah.
don't want to have their rights taken away. But
and a really great beer scene. I actually hosted the Brews Less Traveled episode month in Houston in December
I didn't
of
realize
20.
that.
Oh, the first year it was going on. So one of like it was like I think the month after. I can't remember when you guys hosted in November. I think
I did
And
San Antonio.
Yeah, you
okay,
did
so-
San Antonio.
and probably found some similar things there. I mean, San Antonio is pretty
Yeah.
close to Austin as well. But with all the people we were interviewing and all the stories I was hearing about, I was like, wow, Houston sounds like a pretty cool place.
Yeah. And I had
Yeah,
the
what-
same experience when I did the Knoxville episode
Mhm.
back
Yeah.
in the Hazy Lady days.
Mhm.
I was like, I want to go there. I mean, I was like, I want to go to Knoxville. It sounds like a great town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many breweries and great restaurants and like things to do. And I'm like, wow, it sounds like a great place to live. And then you got all this BS that's happening in Tennessee as well.
Oof.
So
Yeah,
know.
I lived in
Well-
Memphis for a year.
Speaking
year.
of, if I recall, sorry, this is not. We're talking about the old times, but there are some current updates with the Brews Less Traveled, formerly potentially Brews Less Traveled podcast,
Yes,
which
that is
all
true.
of you have also been on. Do you want to fill us in, Captain?
Sure, yeah, I'll tell you about that. It is now called the City Brew Tours Beer Club. It's
Mhm.
funny because I was thinking about how the original name for the City Brew it was Brews Less Traveled, and it was sort of pushed as like, oh, these are cities you don't really think of as beer cities. But the truth of
Right.
the matter is, it's called brews less traveled. So it's more about, you can go to a city that's well traveled, but beers that don't travel very far outside of it. But they sort of shifted it also to sort of bring in the brand name of City Brew Tours into it. But now I think
Okay.
also, hopefully, maybe we'll get a New York episode of
Finally.
City Brew Club, because I think they can still focus on beers. Like, for instance, the one that we're doing right now, that I'm hosting for the month. We just recorded the 100th episode the other night, and for this month it's Grand Rapids, Michigan, and there's in fact, slightly spoiler alert to, I don't know, everyone's who got in the boxes knows this already. There is a beer there that has been featured on our podcast back at episode 9. It was the first, if you might remember, it's the first non-stout beer I ever had on the show.
Terrifying.
And it is known as the Big Red Cock.
Yes. I
Yes,
do recall
now
that.
Now
I do recall
recall.
that one gave us some good joy for that episode, if I recall.
Out of Grand Rapids. Okay.
Mhm.
And since they're not as embracing of their explicit rating as we are, I don't know how often I'll be able to actually say the name of that beer on that podcast, but
Well,
we'll see. It reminds me, you know what? A few months back, I saw Eugene Levy on Stephen Colbert, and they've decided that he can say Schitt's Creek as often as they want to, but every time he says it, they have to flash the logo on the screen.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just to be very clear, this is the word he's saying. This is the word he's saying. Censors are funny.
It's a dark day here in the Frez.
yeah. Why is it so dark?
I don't know. It's just overcast today.
You look like you're disappearing into a cloud. Well,
I know.
speaking of dark times, though, in the entertainment industry, I do want to just send some Beer Vengers love out there to all of our striking Writers Guild of America writers on TV shows.
Absolutely.
Because I know, my sister works as not a writer, but in another role, creative role on one of the well-loved late night talk shows.
She's a boss.
She is a boss. I'm just gonna straight up call her a boss bitch, because that is exactly, she makes it happen, and I am so proud of you, and have been proud of you for the whole time you've been there. But of course, no production is happening right now because the writers are on strike. And as people who come out of the entertainment industry, of course, we are highly in support of creative people being paid a living wage, if not more, to do the kind of creative work they are. But really, if I've heard anything from the front lines, it's that they all really need a drink, y'all. Like, they all really need a drink.
You don't want to mention the show that she's on?
No, I'm supposed to keep it a little under wraps. But
Okay.
I'll just say now's a really exciting time to be watching.
I know what
Yeah,
it is.
I know. Now's a really exciting time to be watching, because you never quite know what you're going to get.
Well, except now it's not a very exciting time to
There's
be
nothing
watching
to watch.
since there's nothing to watch.
That's true. You can watch the reruns. Yeah,
And let's remember, this is the writers, but also everyone else who works on those shows, whether
exactly.
they're costume,
They're currently
wardrobe people,
not working,
whether they're
yeah.
camera people,
Directors,
whole
PAs.
ecosystem there, yeah. And so,
Yep.
if you know anyone who's affected by that, put something on social media about it.
And it's
Go hang out on the Pick-a-Line with them, and if you're around them, buy them a beer.
And it's wild because they're not even negotiating with them. They won't
Yeah,
even say
it's-
anything. And it's a drop in the bucket
Yeah.
to the
Mhm.
amount of money these companies make. And it just goes along with everything else that's happening in the country, that these, I want to say the 1%, but it's the 0.001% that's just like, no, we're just going to keep it all.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I was reading one of the writers on The Bear. Did you hear about this? The guy,
Sure, I read that article. Yeah.
he
Well-
he had to go on assistance. He's like, he went to the Writers Guild and said, my bank account is negative.
Yeah.
And so with streaming services, they're not paying the people what they would have normally in the olden days when it was only TV residuals. I mean, it's a lot to explain if you're not in the biz, as it were, but essentially writers are they're not being compensated properly for the work that they've done.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot of great articles about it out there, so take a look at that. Yeah, well, that's what I read. I read the same article you did about the guy who worked on The Bear. First of all, it's like now that they decided writers' rooms can be in Zoom, they haven't gone back
Yeah.
into actually being writers' rooms where they're not hanging out together. So this guy, his entire process of working on the show was in a Zoom room. And but he still got to
never
go to
left
the
home, right?
Emmys. But that's what we're saying. He went to the Emmys with a negative bank account and a rented bow tie.
And a rented bow
Yeah.
tie and received an
Sure.
Emmy.
Yeah,
They won an Emmy.
yeah.
Which is wild. Which is this mini room situation that they put together, where writers' rooms are staying together for like, I don't know, it's like these tiny little, you're not getting any sort of longevity. If you are a person who's coming up in the industry, you're not understanding how the production process works because you're just being treated like a gig worker. You know, for a time, you could actually build a career as a writer. And you could build a career in the arts as a writer if you were fortunate enough to be able to progress in that way. And the fact that we have reduced our entertainment industry to a gig economy is just, I mean, it means it ultimately, while may in the short term provide some profits to these folks, ultimately the longevity of this industry is going to fall apart because we're not in a circumstance where where people have the opportunity to have longevity bits of careers, and people are going to sort of spill out of this industry because they're going to realize there's no way to actually be able to make a living doing this kind of work.
And everything will be written by Chat GPT.
Mhm.
Well,
Bless
let's
it.
see how far that could take us. But I know a lot of people because of I used to do the comedy scene in New York. So a
Mhm.
lot of those people I used to work with went on to become writers. A lot of people from Conan and
Mhm.
the Daily Show and other shows. I knew a lot of the writers and people that even currently write for these shows. They especially like the guys I know for Conan, they were treated very well and they made good
Mhm.
livings for the whole time they're doing it. Conan's over now, so
Yeah.
they're out there. They're out there
Yeah.
on the line, the picket line, because they
Mhm.
know they want the future to be what they had.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
we're being properly compensated. Where in this, and especially with like everything's online, it's all in the it's we used to call it the Wild West online, and it's same thing with actors. That
Mhm.
there's probably be an actor strike sometime in the future. I
Sure.
would
Well,
figure because it's the same sort of vibe. Like
yeah, well,
people aren't being properly compensated.
we averted the road with Actors Equity. They were able to get a contract for the touring productions. But my current favorite thing on social media is that as Actors Equity is continuing to support the Writers Guild, as they should, they're having I am a blank and I support the Writers Guild of America. And since we do have some fun new additions to the Actors Equity Guild, you can be an actor, you could be a stage manager, you could be an actress, you can be all those things. And my current favorite one out there that's floating around is that I am a stripper and I support the Writers Guild because there is a Actors Equity Union strip club, I believe I think it's in Vegas, and they are members of the Actors Union. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, I mean, here we also brought in people who talk about
My
the
equity card to
stars.
Vegas, baby.
Well, there you go. The people who talk about the stars, do the lectures in in a planetarium somewhere, are also now members of the Actors Union. So like, you could be but honestly, like strippers for the Writers Guild, like, get it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make this happen.
Yeah,
Right on.
I've been pretty busy this week, but I am a member of SAG-AFTRA, and we're doing a lot of supporting of the strikers out there. And I've been noticing, I've been getting emails regularly this week about where where the demonstrations are happening. I haven't been able to attend any yet, but you might see me on a picket line sometime soon, supporting them. I'm
Right.
looking forward to
Right on.
unless the strike ends tomorrow, and I won't get a chance to. But I don't see that in our immediate future, especially if, as Huck said, they're not negotiating, which fucking sucks. We have a lot.
I got to resolve it.
This is not the end of our non-apolitical content that we like to have on here. But before we get into more of that, I do want to hear a little more. I know, Huck, you've been traveling lately, and you've been getting some non-California beers. I want to hear a little bit about that.
I went to Cape Cod in Massachusetts. I live in California for my father's 80th birthday.
Wow, well done.
And he's out of control. He's like, I'm 80. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want now.
Oh, he waited that long to do whatever the hell he wants to?
Oh yeah, no, he was already doing it, but he's like, I think it's more like he's gonna say whatever he wants now. So that could be dangerous. He's a Dukakis Republican, Democrat.
Dukakis was the first one I voted for.
Oh boy,
Republican.
That's a complicated situation right there. If we're talking about what the Republican Party has turned into,
he's a red-blooded Massachusetts Democrat. But you know what's funny? I actually didn't vote in that election. You know, as a young person, like I'm about the same age as the captain, and
Mm.
that was my first. That would have been my first chance to vote. But instead, I drove my friend Jay to the polls so he could vote
Oh.
for George Bush.
All right. Well, in
Mm.
Massachusetts didn't really count.
Well,
so
we
who
all make
cares?
choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his vote was canceled out quickly.
He was my friend. He wanted to vote. I gave him a ride. I think
I was very excited about
joint,
voting for the president the first time, and I had to do it absentee because I was living in Alabama at the time.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
Alabama. This guy's in Alabama. He's in Florida. What a life.
I
He
got a
lived
gig.
In
It was-
Tennessee,
it was my
Memphis.
first-
lived in Memphis for a year.
It was my first thing away from home. I got a job working at a children's theater in Mobile, Alabama.
All right.
And it started in the fall, so actually I had to have my parents mail me the absentee ballot so I could vote because I was really excited to vote for president for the first time ever.
Oh, cool.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, I did go to Massachusetts, and my brother-in-law, as we collectively know him, the brother-in-law.
Yes, the brother-in-law.
He had now we have Treehouse Brewing, which is the original.
We'll just
England
call him
IPA,
Bill.
They say.
Brother-in-law.
Bill W.
Yeah. No, BIL, brother-in-law, Bill. Yeah.
Bill,
Oh,
BIL.
It's not bad, Mr. Bill. So I went to his house on
Oh my
Friday,
God.
and we had he had a nice supply there. We had
Nice.
one beer called they have a series of the treat series. So they have like a lollipop on the can, and they make different. This was called the Super Treat. So it was a New England IPA. I mean, it's super like orange, much like
Yeah. Like what I'm
but
drinking.
it was
tonight.
like I actually got a maple syrup vibe from it. I mean, it was like wild. Like the flavors they managed to take out of these hops. They don't add sugar and stuff. It's just like they to make this magic happen. Although they are pretty secretive about it. But this beer I had was called Nomadism. Now the Nomad is a black lager they make, right?
Okay.
Schwarzbier.
Okay.
Schwarzbier.
And so this Schwarzbier.
Yes.
And
Schwarzbier.
this Nomadism was they call it Czech dark lager, and the Tomav Pivo in Czech. But this was made with hand selected and roasted treehouse coffee, and I mean a Czech dark lager with coffee, and it was like as coffee as I like it. You know me, I like my coffee-ish, and
You do.
it was just a lovely beer. So shout out to Nomadism. I mean, they're really known for their IPAs. That's their thing. Treehouse, people come from all over the country. They want to have that Treehouse hazy IPA. But I tell you what, don't sleep on these lagers. And I had also a smoked Baltic porter.
Ooh.
It was called Comfy Cozy. And I mean, it's let me just read you this. We share this beer with you in a tremendous amount of pride, typically brewed in autumn and left to condition naturally for several months in our horizontal stainless tank, stainless steel. Comfy Cozy emerges with an overwhelmingly smooth disposition, carrying flavors of molten chocolate, caramel, toffee, rich dark fruit, and light coffee with a pleasant and pervasive smoky character. I mean, it lived up to that. 9.2% too. And I drank it quick. It was like smooth.
Wow.
Oh, just like, so, I mean, shout out to Treehouse. They really are, hype. They're the hypest of hype breweries. You have Other Half, Trillium, Bissell Brothers, Jester King, all these hype breweries. Treehouse, they're great. And they make great stouts and they make great lagers. I mean, they are very good with the lagers. So I'm glad we have them on the Cape. They don't brew on the Cape, but they have the Treehouse sandwich, and that's the other thing about them, the selection. They have like, if you go to buy some cans, they have like 35 different beers in cans. And something about Treehouse that people might not know is that you don't find them in bars.
Yeah,
you don't find them in store. They're not in stores, and they've stuck to that. I mean, it's kind of like annoying.
Not even in that area. Like wow.
if you go to like a Sandwich, and the town of Sandwich is, yes, it's called Sandwich. It's the name for the Earl of Sandwich. If you go to any, like, they have some great craft beer bars in Sandwich. No Treehouse. You won't find it. And just because that's what they do. I guess more power to them for sticking to that. And they've made an empire now because they have like 6 different places now where you can get Treehouse. In Massachusetts, there's one in Connecticut now too. So, good on them. They waited a long time to build themselves up to that point, and they're still killing it. So I gotta really give them their props.
I want to go to there.
Yeah. Well, road trip.
Yes.
Well, like I said, there's one in Connecticut now. So
Yeah,
maybe
it's not that
too
hard to
far
get
in
to.
the city. And Charlton, the original home of Treehouse, is in central Mass, south of Worcester. So, fairly accessible from the city. I'd say 3 hours to a Treehouse without traffic.
I bet you could get on a bus or not a bus. Yeah.
But I if you follow our Beer Vengers Instagram, I did some stories the other day because we went to a bar to actually see a lovely band. Shout out to the band Heyday. They're really great if you're down the Cape. And I put up pictures of the beers I had, and I put this one with the clown shoes glass, but it was actually a Allagash White. Not a good pour either. Not what's wrong with the lines. Not
a nice glass.
Shout out to Allagash, but the particular bar I was not pleased. And then this one is it's a fiddlehead glass, but it was Wormtown out of Worcester, Wormtown Bee Hoppy, which is a very nice West Coast style IPA. And my sister, Irish Red,
we like her.
I ordered the Allagash White, and then I ordered a Stella because I like to drink lagers. And she's like, she got the Bee Hoppy. She's like, it's not my first time here. Like she knew what to order. So I got the Stella. And I was like, nope, no. It was sour.
Oh God. How can you screw
bad.
up Stella? How can you screw up a Stella? Is it just the Lions were that bad?
I don't know. I mean, she said, like, I talked to my nephew who actually works at that place in the summertime. He said, yeah, not a lot of people order that. And I was like, okay, so maybe that's what it is. These kegs sit there too long. I don't know. It was the off season too, because the Cape is all about the summertime.
Yeah.
It was. I returned it.
Good for you.
But it came in a proper glass. But I was like, no, I'm not drinking that. And they gave me the Bee Hoppy, which was fine. Good beer. Speaking of beer, I got another one. But
what?
Yeah, sure.
What do you got?
Do it.
Do it.
While I have the floor, I have the talking stick. This is called Free Kittens.
It's a lager. Free Kittens lager.
Berryessa Brewing out of Winters, California. The town is called Winters. No H. It's just
no H.
Regular Winters.
Oh, okay.
And you see, we were talking about this earlier. It's a bad left-hand pour, so I got to do the right.
It is a terrible left-hand pour. Yeah, you killed the can art on that one. But it's cute can. It's cute can art. That cat looks adorable.
See, but I just spilled on the computer because I'm geez.
Everything is ruined.
Oh, I gotta get this. Right. Well, it's not too bad. Anyway, Free Kittens, Berryessa. Berryessa is a nice local brewery out of Winters, which is north of Vacaville, if you go that far, Bay Area essentially. And this is a rice lager. They proudly declare it a rice lager, and heck yeah, why not?
Yeah,
hold that
pretty.
That can up next to it again.
Get the can up. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's good.
I actually have 6 choices because I like to do new breweries.
Yeah,
I know you do.
And I figured it's got such a cool name, we'll go for it.
I was thinking again when you were talking about that.
I will now relinquish the floor. Thank you, guys.
Well, I was just thinking about when you were talking about the Stella. Is that the AB InBev, of course, that's what they're made for, and they've been a little bit in the news lately because
just a tad.
Good segue.
Yeah. It was it was because this whole thing. I know I feel we're a little late to the party, but as soon because that's the thing. It's like when we're on hiatus and something beer related comes to the news, I'm like, I wish we could talk about this, but we're still going to talk about it because
it's true.
Bud Light got into a little bit of trouble not too long ago. They shouldn't have. I
Yeah.
mean, because all they were doing was they were supporting a social media influencer who was promoting their product, and they sent this person named Dylan Mulvaney, who happens to be a trans woman. And Dylan did a wonderful little promotion for them on their Instagram, TikTok, something like that.
Yeah.
And
Social media, yeah.
and conservatives lost their fucking minds.
Yeah. But can I just mention how much I love it when conservatives lose their fucking minds, because their choice of taking out their rage just feels fully illogical.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, yeah.
Also feels phony to me.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because if you haven't seen this, and I don't want to, but like, if I recall, what I was seeing was people getting a pack of Bud Light and then shooting it with a gun.
Yeah, and sometimes in the case of Kid Rock, it seemed he had a couple of shooters from the what do they call it, the what do they call this place where they think JFK was shot from the what do you call it? I know you're thinking it, Huck, where they're saying, oh, there were some other
Conspiracy
shots
theory?
coming from the
Grassy knoll.
the grassy
grassy
knoll.
knoll.
I
Yes,
think there was a grassy knoll next to Kid Rock, because if you looked at it, some of those trajectories clearly were not coming from his gun. He couldn't shoot up a big giant target of beer by himself. He needed a couple of assistants on that.
Dylan, and they made a beer can with her image on it.
Yeah.
And
lovely,
and
lovely.
When I first heard about that, I thought, oh, fuck, are we going to have to drink Bud Light now? But then, of course, predictably, AB InBev the next day said some shitty things and tried to we didn't want to do anything to divide anyone. So completely, okay, good. I still don't have to drink your shitty beer. But of course, in addition to shooting up their beer, a lot of these conservatives, since they're so dumb, decided to say oh, fuck Bud Light, I'm going to drink Stella now. Of course, made by the same people. I'm going to drink Hoegaarden.
But every a lot of them were I'm drinking Coors Light from now on, and it's if you look at Coors Light history, they've made rainbow cans, they've made pride cans, and it's just the whole thing is just. And what's sad about it is that this is a minority of people that are attacking her for drinking this beer, or even promoting the beer, but they get so much publicity for it.
I know.
And it's sad. It's sad because it's a human being, and we're seeing a lot of that right now, where we're demonizing other people for just being who they are.
Yep.
And that doesn't fly at the Beer Vengers.
And then AB InBev doesn't even have the fucking balls to say what's the big deal? This is a person who who. Oh, we're sorry. We didn't mean to piss anyone off.
I mean to offend all the assholes in the world.
It's fucking stupid. Yeah.
I mean, it's the number one beer in the country.
Yeah.
It's the most drank beer in the United States.
Which probably means some trans people are drinking it.
It would seem so, yeah.
Everybody's drinking it.
I've had a Bud Light in my existence. I'm sure all of us have had some Bud Lights in our existence.
You had one on this show one time.
I did. It was a Bud Light Lime, if I recall correctly.
Bud Light is still in the title. But yes.
So I mean that's the thing is it is everyone's beer because it's the number one beer. Everyone drinks it except our craft beer folks.
And what's so funny is that the craft beer industry has traditionally been very accepting of the LGBTQ community, partially because there's a lot of drinking there, but also because we get, here in Gotham, when June rolls around, every brewery puts out their Pride beer, know?
Well, of course, isn't that called Rainbow Commerce? Isn't that what
it is called? It is called Rainbow Commerce, but to the point of Brooklyn Breweries created a Stonewall beer that is still served at Stonewall. That's a beer that has not gone out of style in terms of availability. It's not just let's try and get some queer dollars during June. It's it's Rainbow Commerce, sure, but there's a statement there, and I can't imagine Bud Light at this point putting on a rainbow can to try and cash in on the queer dollars there.
Or at least they will not right now. That when the heat dies down, they can figure they can make a buck on it. They will, because that's the funny thing is I was listening to Dan Savage talk about this. He was talking,
sure,
all these crazy people are angry about it now. There have been plenty of LGBTQIA plus groups who've been complaining about groups who want to seem to glom onto the cause, but not actually really backing it up in other ways.
Yeah, exactly.
So no one's happy with the rainbow commerce in some ways, but
No, honestly, just let the queers drink good beer. Like just kind of put that out there in the world. I'm sure it will get drunk by queer people or by allies. Either way, someone will drink your beer. So just make good stuff.
yeah, I would say that Brooklyn is probably a little more sincere about it than AB and Bev. Let's just say that much.
That's
fair.
well,
That's very fair.
If your local craft place is doing it, they probably mean it more, because really craft breweries they care more about their communities than just making a buck.
Absolutely. I mean, that's capitalism, and that's how everybody has to get paid. And when you have a business, you have to make money. But you're right, because craft breweries are usually independently owned,
Mhm.
and we just noticed we've seen it in our own places that they can go under.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
something like AB and Viv could stop selling Bud Light altogether, and they'd still be making buku bucks, because
Yeah.
they have like 8 of the top like, or 7 or the top. Let me see. I have my list here. my yellow paper out here. Of the
Oh my
top
God.
10 beers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10 of the top beers in America are AB and Bev beers. 6 out of 10.
And when the whole thing first came out, I was thinking, do we have to do a whole show supporting them, and we should all find whichever one we found most palatable of them.
Ugh.
And then when I realized
Hell no.
as soon as they dialed back the whole thing, I'm like, okay, yes, fuck AB and Bev is right. It's like it doesn't quite ring off the tongue the way fuck Founders does. But
Yeah, well, but we got to circle back to that one, okay? Because I was just in. Now I know we just like gave some love to Grand
Segues
Rapids
today are crushing it.
I know. Also, like this is a full like fuck capitalism like episode,
is.
starting with our catch 23
This is our
and
like,
moving.
most political episode.
And
of
this
all time.
even ties into my Grand Rapids stuff too, because that's
I
where Founders
know, right?
is originally from.
Exactly. So Founders is a tap room in Grand Rapids. I was recently in Detroit for reasons, and I decided I wanted to go to the Detroit tap room for Founders, because fuck Founders, but also I'm in Detroit. Like let's see what's up with the beer scene. Founders is an easy one to get to, all that good stuff. So I intended to go there. I looked it up on the Googles, and guess what? It was shockingly closed. And so I was like,
Whoa.
I feel bad for the tap room. And so I was texting with the captain, and I was like, I mean, fuck Founders, but also like, I kind of feel bad for the tap room owners, like the people who work at the tap room, because like it sucks and the beer industry's tough, and like we want to support our fellow beer tenders. And then Captain did some research, and now I am decidedly back on the fuck Founders train. So Captain, do you want to fill us on what is happening with Founders?
Here's the crazy thing: when I'm looking for like current stuff, the way I do it, I'm sure everyone. This is nothing. I'm 55 next week, so I'm amazed. I'm very proud of myself for figuring out how the internet tubes work. But I basically do a search for Founders, but I also click on the news tab, because that'll get me the most recent stories about it.
Yes,
right, yeah.
And so that got me the Detroit thing, but like right next to it was someone has filed yet another racial discrimination suit against them. Like those two stories happened within like 2 days.
I did.
Good Lord. See,
we don't. Yeah.
See,
Not
and this is
why
why
about the story yet, but yeah, that's they're still they have a brand apparently, and it's racial discrimination.
Oh, and we loved Founders so much.
We did.
Yeah,
we did. Yeah.
I used to declare it the best porter in the world.
It was my go-to beer. Yeah,
the breakfast stout, the original breakfast stout, is just fantastic. It's like people just get hubris, and they think they can do whatever they want, and
we can't have nice things.
They always take a step too far. Hitler had to invade Russia.
Oh my God,
that was a bad idea.
Yeah, he did nothing wrong before that, did he, Huck?
But he could have got away with the rest of it.
Oh my God.
I shouldn't have started with Hitler. I should have started lighter.
Well, I mean, we've had references to World War II repeatedly this evening with all of our literary stuff, so we're already doing great.
We're going to talk about
Fair
how
point.
Mussolini made the trains run on time.
Oh God.
And today, and to this day, they still run on time. Thanks, Benito.
I don't. So anyway, you guys seen any good movies lately?
Let me get back to my beer. This is a Berryessa.
Let's talk about the rice lager.
They say actually it's 25% puffed jasmine rice.
Do you get the jasmine?
I get there's a little bit of a nice mouthfeel. There's like I do get a little bit of the jasmine with the mouthfeel for sure. Like the afterfeel in the mouth. And it's a delightful lager. And what they say is that it's gonna go down smooth. You won't even know what happened. They're right. It's happening. Look at this thing. It's already almost gone.
Pretty.
Yeah.
It
is also
beer.
It's also like basically translucent. I can see directly through it. I can see everything there.
Yeah.
I might as well be watching a movie through it.
And when we talk about rice lagers, like Stella is a rice lager, Bud Light is a rice lager. I mean, these are rice lagers get a negative connotation to them, but when a craft brewery does it and they do it purposefully, and I've enjoyed quite a few nice rice lagers. So this is a good one. I'm going to say, good on you, Berryessa. Free kittens.
You know what? It's also a really great tool.
Do they mean free kittens? Like you're getting free kittens, or is it free kittens?
Meaning that they're imprisoned and we need to free them.
Free them.
Yes, free the kittens.
Well, I don't know. You're the one drinking it, so do you taste?
What does that cat say? Is he saying? Oh, he looks pretty happy, actually.
Yeah,
he looks. What we call high.
Huck, we've been getting a lot of nice responses from some of the breweries you've been featuring on it. Like they will often reach back on Instagram, and I don't have that information, which breweries those are, but a lot of the ones you've been reaching out to have been reaching back to us. So we're really thankful for that.
Yeah, we've had some good responses from our folks at a lot of our breweries. Left Hand is one that
thank you, Left Hand.
Reached out, which was something that you drank, I think, or the
I know. Actually,
I don't think it was me.
Wheat Lightning. Wheat Lightning did.
It was Wheat Lightning. Yeah.
That was your second.
Hello, thank you to Wheat Lightning for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had some really nice responses from a lot of nice breweries.
Yeah.
And let's give them a shout out right now. Give me a second to get my Hudson North Cider reached out.
We know that.
That's right. Yeah.
Thanks for featuring us, which was also attributed to Wheat
Lightning. The Lightning.
Half Acre Beer also reached out and said, "Hey, thanks." We also heard from Faction Brewing out here in California.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Other Half.
Oh,
said something.
Hey, Other Half.
Because I had that.
Did they, or is
other
that
half...
just? Am I just?
No, I had that Other Half Barrier hybrid last time. The coffee
Barrier
half. Yeah.
I'm actually looking at and Single Cut. Well, we had them on the show.
Yeah, we had them on the show. So yeah. But here's the thing: if you're a brewery and you want to reach out to us,
Dog said cheers out here. East Brother Beers mentioned us in their story. They put us on their story.
Yeah.
So that was nice of them. East Brother, that was one of the beers that I had recently, and so we've been getting some nice reaction from Strike Brewing out here in San Jose. Also put us on their story. And City League Coffee. I don't know what Incinerati Brewing right here in our
this is what I'm saying. A lot of the breweries you've been featuring have been very responsive on there, so we appreciate that.
I'm gonna go on on Saturday. I have a plan to go on the Taps and Tacos Trail, which is going to be a beer crawl.
Ooh.
Where there's a trolley between the breweries over in what we call Clovis, which I've mentioned before.
Yes. Yes. My friend Erica lives there.
Oh, Erica. When are we going to get together with Erica? We're going to go on to go to a couple breweries over there on Saturday. So we're going to enjoy a few of the And I actually just became a good Uber customer, and
You got
getting
those 5 stars?
40% off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm getting like suddenly 40% off for a couple of weeks, so I gotta take
Congratulations.
advantage of
That's
that.
cool. Yeah.
You know, I was actually going to go downtown tonight to a comedy show and participate,
Oh,
and they canceled the show.
how
Oh,
dare they?
that sucks.
What am I supposed to do now? Now I just have to go out and party
Well,
without
soldier
the
on.
Comedy.
Soldier on.
Well,
My spouse is going to be like, "You're just going out to party." I'm like, "Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm going to do."
there's no late night comedy to be seen, so I guess it makes sense. They're just striking in solidarity.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's not like
I
you're going to
actually
stay home
heard
and
it was
watch
like
Colbert.
I heard it was a thing where they were like, I mean, I know very little of what's going on, but they were like, something was said at the open mic that was
Oh
like,
God.
I don't know, offensive to the place is actually called Dick's Men's Suits and Shoes, which is weird to begin with.
Already, yeah,
Yep.
we're starting
A
out
comedy
like
open
Should we
mic.
just switch it around and say men's dick suits and shoes?
that actually feels appropriate.
Yeah.
And they ended the relationship with the comedy show.
Uh,
I never got a chance to go.
shame.
I'm just starting my second comedy career here in the Frez.
Well,
the
I was gonna bring up my recent experience with seeing Beau is Afraid, because I think that could be an interesting thing, and and going to I've right now like $7 Tuesday movie followed by a place down the street that has $5 drafts. But I think I might get into
Pick
that
some pints.
I think I might get into that on a future show, because in just a couple of days,
Oh,
I'm
yes.
hosting Stoutapalooza 2020.
Very exciting.
Oh, yes. Tell us
I
about
know.
what's going to happen there at the Stoutapalooza.
Well, for those of you who've been listening long enough, you know what Stoutapalooza is. We try and do this whenever we can, or as long as I can procrastinate cleaning, whichever comes first.
I know how dangerous this party is.
This is an excellent.
It's happening 4 days before I become a former speed limit. So shout out to Sammy Hagar.
Woo!
Shout out.
But yeah, so we are going to be doing our best to empty the Captain Cellar. All Beer Vengers who are able to attend it's happening Sunday afternoon, and I'm stressed. I'm very much looking forward to it, but I always get a little stressed out when I host a party. So I worry that I gotta feel like I should clean every day. I should do something. I should get another. Well, mostly I'll just be binging that. Like I'm taking a day off from work the day before and just mapping that all out for cleaning. And
Well, I have entered your home on non party days.
that's true.
And so, yeah, maybe a little cleaning is in order.
Thank you for that affirmation. Or
spruce.
for feeding my anxieties. I really appreciate that.
Maybe spruce it up a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. But the beer will do a lot of the heavy
Please.
lifting as far as sprucing up the environment.
It always does.
Oh, yeah.
It always does.
Yeah.
Well, the issue with Stoutapalooza, which it shouldn't be an issue. I mean, it is called Stoutapalooza. They're usually pretty strong beers.
They
They're
are. I mean,
bold.
I have
There's a
I
lot
have a few
happening.
things in there to cut the edge. Like I got a black walnut dunkel in there.
There's one black. Well, I remember that Beer Wonder and I at the was it the last Stoutapalooza?
Yeah, it was like
Stoutapaloozas
February
ago?
of last year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's when I lived in New York.
Yeah,
I know.
That's why you're here.
First of all, we had a great time.
Yes.
Oh, it was so much fun. It's always a good
It
time.
was a
perpetually.
blast. It was a
Yes.
blast, and I hope you guys have a blast too. But I think that Beer Wonder and I were both like, let's try and find something in the fridge that's less than 6% alcohol.
And I don't know that we could, if I recall. Well, I think we might have found
There was-
one. We found a lager.
There was
We did find
there was
lager.
a Stone IPA, I recall.
That was it,
Nice.
yes.
Is
There
it
was
Stone
Stone
IPA
IPA.
under 6?
IPA.
Yeah. That was a fun night. Fun afternoon.
Oh, but it's always a fun time at the Stoutapalooza, and I hope
Well-
you have a great. Do you think you got a good crew coming? I mean, you got the Beer Wonders.
Well,
going.
I got about. I always have to be careful. Like I want to over-invite, but I don't want to under-invite. So I think there are about 16 people
Always
on the guest
over-invite.
list, and
nice.
16.
so hopefully, well, I mean 18 if you include you and Cider Girl, but I know you're not coming. So,
We're not gonna be there, no. But
but
I remember
I wouldn't
last
feel right not inviting you.
Stoutapalooza, we had the Night Runner was there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He's
with,
coming.
his lovely
Partner.
spouse,
Partner.
partner, and
Yes.
and their friend. There were three of them, and I don't think any of them. At least they were doing like dry February.
Well, the two of them were. I don't
It was
remember
good of
someone
them
else
to
was.
come.
Yeah.
It was great company with them, but they
Yeah.
didn't
They were not
imbibe.
indulging, yes, which meant that we had to do extra work. Just
Right.
you know,
We did.
So yeah, they will be
I
coming
remember
to this
Cider
one.
Girl
And
had
I
to
don't,
sort
and
of
they're
carry
not
me
doing.
out of there.
Yeah, they're not doing
Yeah.
a dry May, so I think we're doing all right.
They're
Thank
good,
goodness.
good.
Well,
it's
and
funny,
I understand
yeah.
that Globe Hopper will be joining.
Yes, he wasn't able to join
good.
last
He's
year.
a good drinker.
He and
He's a
Yeah, he's
Cider
a good
Cat will
drinker.
both be here. Maybe I'll find some cider to put in the refrigerator for her.
We'll probably have
Well,
to come up with a few ciders.
They're also going to bring some, from what I understand.
What I
And who
always tell-
knows?
what I always tell
If we're
people
nice to
is-
him, he'll bring us some of his own brewed beer. So
Yes, that
Oh,
should
that's
be
right.
exciting.
That's right. Well, you wanted the huckster there, so you guys got to work extra hard over there. So.
true.
Yes,
Very
yes.
true.
We will do our best to live up to your expectations.
Sorry, you were saying what you always tell people is.
Oh, I always say like you don't have to bring anything, but if you want to bring anything you would like to be at the party that isn't stout, would probably be the best rule of thumb there.
So if
Yes.
we
But if you
have
bring a
some,
stout, that's okay too.
if we have some beer vengers out there that are in the city, are they invited or they can contact you?
Sure,
And how
they
can we reach out to? How can we reach out to beer vend?
Well, by the time this airs, it will be over. So we'll be getting a
Right.
report.
It'll be
But
over.
But you
Good
can
point.
still ask. Yeah, we can put you on the
Yeah.
list for the next one. Yeah, you can reach out to us at the Beer Vengers, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and or you can email
TikTok.
us. Oh yes, TikTok. That's right. I don't think we put anything on. Have you put anything on there recently?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
We're
I
actually
need to
getting
we
really
check it
good
out.
views.
Yeah, we got lots of views on there.
Beer Talk is real.
Like 800 views on some of our videos.
It's pretty remarkable, yes, and yeah, we're and you can find us there, and of course, if you're listening, you know where to find our podcast. It's wherever you get your podcasts because that's how you heard us right now. So tell your friends about
Yeah.
that, and if you want to email us, that's thebeervengers@gmail.com. Anything else
Gmail.
important we need to talk about? Gmail.
I tell you, this has been. I think this has probably been our best episode.
Yeah, I think.
Well,
that's not hyperbolizing at all. Yeah.
No, this is one of the good ones.
Is that a word? Hyperbolizing? I like that.
That is a word. That is a word. But
Is it? Okay, great.
Well, I see you're clutching the new uke, Huck.
oh yes, it's a new uke. It's I can
It's
hear
a
it.
Takamine.
It is that new uke smell.
Yes.
All right, thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back soon to report on Stoutapalooza, or at least whatever we can remember. We actually check our socials. We might be putting a few updates on it about.
We
there.
probably we might even
I'm
go
expecting-
live. We might even go live.
It could happen. It
I'm
could
expecting
happen.
a live.
Yeah, and well, who knows? Maybe we'll have you zoom in to address the crowd.
Oh, that's fun. That's a fun idea.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time. Huck, play us out if you would.
With a beer Vengers, beer Vengers, beer Vengers.
We're the Avengers.